We're Alec and Cindy Sharp, and we are sharing the journey. It's been a busy week. Topic of the day we're going to talk about is pros and cons of recovering from surgery while living in a motorhome. So as y'all know, we moved in the motorhome, what, about 10 days ago?
I guess that's about right.
Yeah, about 10 days ago. And back when we started the process of transitioning, we went through all the stuff we had to do to the house. It became a little overwhelming for me, and even though the doctor says that stress cannot induce a heart situation, I found myself for the first time ever having some medical problems. About 3 weeks ago, I ended up in intensive care in the heart hospital at Richland Memorial. I guess what they say, my heart got stuck at 100 and roughly averaging 164 beats a minute. After 17 hours, Cindy made me go to the doctor, and they ended up sticking me in the hospital. Had a temporary procedure done there, and then they scheduled a heart ablation for this past Tuesday. I think it was really called a cardiac ablation. For Miriam and Chuck Croson, this week I will not be saying this is not a non-alcoholic beverage. So, cheers.
Every now and again.
Every now and then. I couldn't have anything before the procedure. Procedure was pretty easy. It was a lot easier for Cindy than it was for me. But
no, it wasn't.
But basically, they went up through veins in my legs and cauterized the side of my heart to break the electrical circuit up so that my heart would stay constant and not flutter. I guess they called it AFib flutter.
Yeah, they diagnosed you with the AFib flutter.
So not only are we new to the motorhome, we're new to the hospital too. So coming home to the motorhome instead of a bed.
You're new to the hospital.
Yes. She's had 6 children, and so she's been in the hospital a lot.
3 C-sections. I've had hip replacement surgery.
Yes.
So I'm a little more acclimated to it than you are.
Yes. So these are my first 2 experiences within the last month of ever being in the hospital.
The only other thing you've had done is you did have a hernia.
Yeah, like 20 years ago.
Operation. And that's it.
So we're going to talk about what we decided were pros and cons from being in our house than a motorhome. Our sticks and bricks was 2,500 square feet, 2-story. Master was on the first floor, along with 2 other bedrooms, and then the children's suite was upstairs with 2 huge bedrooms and a children's den. So first thing I would notice, like I said, they went through the veins in my legs to my heart, which I'm not sure how that works, but that's what they did. So my legs were very sore, and it was outpatient surgery, which I still don't understand. So the stairs into the motorhome, we've got 2 outside, 2 inside, are much steeper than the stair and a half going into our regular home. So that was con number 1, is it was a lot harder. However, our motorhome has a grab rail on the outside and the inside, which helped. Biggest thing I noticed was the bed, is built on top of storage, and it's much higher than our sleigh bed that we had in the sticks and bricks. So getting in and out of the bed was much more difficult, and my whole body was sore. They had given me some medicine that stimulated your muscles, which made everything tense, and my whole body ached when I came home. So just trying to get up and then to get out and back in the bed, that was much higher. I haven't measured it, but it was higher. Bathroom is tighter. Our bathroom, our master suite in our sticks and bricks, was as big as the kitchen, living room, driving
huge.
area of the motorhome. I'd say it's as big as 2/3. It was as big as everything but the bedroom in the motorhome. So it was a lot easier to maneuver in the house. And then the only thing that really annoyed me is every time Cindy or our big dog, Chance, which is 85 pounds, would move inside the motorhome, you would do the whole motorhome. You felt like you were going to be thrown out of the bed, which I guess because I was not feeling well, that was exaggerated, but that's what it felt like to me. So those are the cons. Can you think of any additional cons?
No, not really.
How about as a caregiver? Was it easier or harder?
I think it was easier because if you were in the bedroom, I could be in the kitchen or the living room, and I would be able to hear if you needed any help or you needed anything. I was close by.
I didn't have to ring the bell very loud. Some pros I noticed was everything was close at hand. So when I had the big bedroom and bathroom at home, it was a lot of steps. Well, it's 11 steps from, Sydney measured it today, from our bed to the kitchen sink is roughly 11 steps. So the bathroom's halfway between. So 5 steps once I'm out of bed, I'm in the bathroom. So that made it more convenient. If I wanted to get out of bed and go sit on the sofa for a change of scenery, or just because my body was sore and I couldn't lay in that position any longer, 5 steps and I'm to the sofa. One thing we did not have at home, we only had one TV at home. So the TV was in the living room. So if I wanted to watch TV at the house, it would have to be in the living room. So if I was, I spent a whole day in bed Tuesday when I came home, and Wednesday. But the motorhome has TVs like everywhere, outside, inside, in the bedroom, so it was convenient to have a TV that I could see from the bed. And I guess I didn't think about it till just now. Is the headboard is really part of the back wall, and so it's more stable. And so I was able to sit up in bed, and our headboard is cushioned, so I was able to use that as a pillow. And it made sitting up and switching my positions in bed a lot easier in the motorhome than it was in our sticks and bricks. In our motorhome we have, you can see right here, we have day shades, we have night shades. So it was a lot easier to make the motorhome dark. So when I first came home, all I wanted to do was sleep. So Cindy was able to close the day and night shades and then close the bedroom door, turn the air conditioner on in the bedroom, because we're at our family farm right now, and so we only have 30 amp service, so we can only run one air conditioner. So we're able to turn the air conditioner on in the bedroom. I wasn't able to hear anything. It was dark. It was a lot easier to get to sleep and to stay comfortable. So I guess you could say the motorhome was more calming than the house. And I guess too, since we're here, we still have a 18-year-old daughter that's living in the house. Well, she wasn't. She's loud. Sorry, Reagan, but you're loud. I didn't have to put up with that because she was in the house and I was in the motorhome. If you lived, one thing that could be an advantage, if you lived away from the hospital and you lived in a motorhome, or you were staying away from the hospital and you knew you were going to have a procedure, you could try to find a campground that was closer to the hospital to make the trek back and forth easier. I mentioned earlier we're on partial hookups, 30 amp sewer, 30 amp service, and water only. So one thing I didn't do was check my tanks or my tank levels before I had the procedure. The last 3 days, the tanks have been busting at the seams. Today's the first day I've really felt up to anything, and we went over to Poinsett State Park, just up in Wedgefield today. Can you read that? Poinsett
No.
State Park. So we went to Poinsett State Park, paid $5, and dumped. It was a primitive campground.
Yeah, they have a total of, I think, 50 or so sites.
But only
But only 24 of them, I believe, were
partial hookup.
30 amp service with water. The rest were tent sites and primitive camping. And
Right. So that's one thing that that
it
you
was
need to
a
make.
very small park, and we
One-way
almost
roads.
wish that we had gone and previewed the park before we tried to take our motorhome, because the roads were very narrow, very tight. They weren't in great condition.
And we wouldn't have fit on a site there.
Well, there may have been a few, but it would have been awkward trying to get in and out of there. Let me just say, we would have been entertainment
Yes.
for other campers in the campground trying to get on and off of one of their sites.
So if you're on partial hookups and you're getting ready to go in the hospital for a procedure and you're going to be incapacitated for 3 or 4 days, make sure that your tanks are empty before you go, and don't come home to 3/4 to full tanks when you get out of the hospital and then have to worry about every ounce of water that's going into the gray and black tank. So that's all we have for today. Oh, I do have one good news is a local farmer in the community. Like I said, we're closing our house on May 10th. And we have some friends that are in the area that her husband is just leaving the Air National Guard, where he's an F-16 pilot or whatever they fly now, the jets. And he's going to become an American Airlines pilot. And so he's going to be doing some training for several months. He's going to be away. And the wife asked me and Cindy if we would mind camping in their farm, which they've got full hookups, 30 amp over there, sewer and water. So that'll be good for about 2 months. So that'll get us through from the sale of our house to my son's wedding, so we can launch then. So it's going to help us to put a little bit of money in the bank and help her and her family feel safe, I guess.
Yeah, and we'll be in the same community that we were in, and that'll be nice.
Less than a mile from our Sticks and Bricks now, so it'll help with my daughter for her to graduate high school and for us to get her transitioned into an apartment where she can be noisy and other people can complain and not me. So until then, until next week, I should say, right?
Hopefully.
Hopefully next week. This is, I can't believe we got 2 off in 2 weeks. But y'all stay safe on the road and enjoy the journey with us. Thank you.